It's Casey, and a quick reminder that we got a lot of things going on the shows to come, including more great interviews. And today is just like any other day. Got a great interview with a dude that is kind of like a Latin tattooed American country music singer boy. Wow, that's a long title. But Frank Ortega is with the show today. And we're going to be chatting with him and finding out all about this guy. Frank, are you there?
I'm here. How are you doing?
I am doing well. And I think one of the things that's interesting about you is you're not the typical cowboy, and we're going to tell our listening audience a little bit more about some of that stuff. But how you got into country music might be is always a fun story to hear, because everybody has their own little story about how they recognized at some point in time in their life that this is what they want to do. They want to be a performer. They've chosen country as their genre, or in your case, a little bit of a mix. And I always like to hear that story. So, Frank, why don't you go ahead and tell us how you ended up navigating your way to Nashville, and how did you navigate into choose of being a quote-unquote country artist, which I know there's that's taken lightly, but we'll get to that in a minute. But tell us a little bit about your background, Frank.
Well, I'm from Arizona. I'm an Arizona boy, and just like many people, you're a product of what your parents listen to in a lot of ways. And my daddy listened to country, all the time. And so you grew up with that, but you get influenced, by your friends. And just like anyone else, I listened to rock and all this and just all kinds of music growing up. But it's funny to me when I get asked that question, because I really do feel like, when you break it down, country music is music of the country.
Right.
So I think everybody has country music in them. Mm-hmm. Some recognize it, some don't. So I think we go and come back and forth into it. But so growing up, I played the trumpet in the 5th grade. That started my whole thing right there. So my mama got me a trumpet, and I learned that. And then I went into high school and realized that girls like guitars, and like any boy, you pursued that. But no, I've had a love affair with music all my life, and but I really came back to country when I got a little bit older, and I'm actually glad. I just kind of listened and pursued all kinds of different things, and but you really tap back into who you really are, and,
right.
And as we all get older, right, we're wise enough to recognize that, mm-hmm. And so that's what happened with me. It just hit me about songs that matter. I'm a lover of words, and so whether I'm a writer as well, but even other songs that obviously I haven't written, I'm moved by those words, man. Those words are very powerful, and mm-hmm. So I've found that some of the best words that move me in my soul is country music. So I am a country artist, and I love being a country music artist. And mm-hmm. So, that's kind of how it happened with me. My love of music in the 5th grade started, and then it's just carried on. I learned to play the piano, taught myself to play the guitar, and then write. And somehow I've ended up in Nashville, and I was a latecomer. I didn't get here to Nashville when I was 20, and I also feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be right now. And
right.
So things have happened for me in the way that they're supposed to happen, whether I like it or not. I accept that, and I love it.
Actually, yeah, I mean, you've kind of been doing it, though, for a little bit already, and I think one of the starts, though, I don't know so many 20-year-olds, though, that had the opportunity to hear themselves at that young already on radio. I mean, I know you're saying it's on Arizona radio, and you went to some local stations and stuff, but I think it doesn't always happen quite that quickly. Some artists are out there, trying to do their thing for a long time before they get some airplay, but you managed to kind of work some magic there and hear your songs on the radio, like you said, like right around the age 20. I mean, that had to be pretty interesting and powerful for you.
Yeah, it was. But, it really is, when I was young in Arizona, just starting out, trying to get on the radio, I would go sit on the trunk of the car of one of the DJs, and I just hounded that radio station and hounded him and hounded him. really tenacity. There wasn't any secret to it other than just,
perseverance.
Tenacity. Yeah, perseverance and just believing in what I was doing. And I felt strongly that, radio has such a powerful voice out there, right? I mean, it's a strong media. And so, yeah, it was just a lot of tenacity. And then one thing, they're like my tattoos. You get one, then you got to go get another one. You got to go get another one. So that's what happened. You get on the radio and you feel like you have something to say, and other people hear it, they're touched by it. So then that led me to just keep pursuing it. So, yeah, it's pretty lucky. I'm a pretty lucky guy, and I'm a people person, so I think that's been quite a big help to me dealing with people on the business side of things as well.
Cool. It was funny because while you were saying about tattoos, I'm not a tattoo person. I don't have any. I'm not that committable to something. But I'll tell you, when you said you get one, you have to have another. Anybody who knows me, that Lay's potato chips is like my ultimate food, and I'm like, you can't just eat one. I got to have another, and then I got to have another, and next thing you know, the whole bag's gone.
Yeah, which leads me into my next topic of bacon.
Uh-oh.
So anybody that knows me knows that I'm all about some bacon, girl. And I know we're here to talk about music, but I am going to digress just for a second and tell you that if you go to my Facebook page or go to frankortega.com and click the Facebook icon, it'll take you to my Facebook page, and you will find out that I love bacon, and I'm all about some bacon, and I just love me some bacon. So I'll eat a bowl of bacon. I wish I had some right now, but anyhow. So I understand your issue with Lay's potato chips, though. Much.
Yeah, anybody who knows me or has been around me long enough, and it was really funny because, again, not to digress or anything, but I ran into somebody I hadn't seen in a long time, a little yesterday or the other day or whatever it was, and we were chatting and catching up on stuff, and she's like, I remember when you were at this quote unquote this other radio station, like 20 years ago, and the one thing I remember the most is when I walk through a grocery store and I see a Lay's potato chip bag, I always think of you. I was like, I've been eating Lay's potato chips for quite a while.
Yeah, I get it. I have been gifted everything you can imagine that has to do with. I have bacon duct tape. I have bacon pancakes. I have bacon, and I'm dead serious. Everybody gives me bacon products all the time. I have bacon soda.
Wow.
You name it, I've got it.
Bacon ice cream?
And I've got, if I unloaded all the pending posts on my Facebook page, there's almost 1,000 of them, and they're all bacon. I don't do that to people because y'all would probably get pretty mad at me. But anyways, so I understand your love affair with something like that. But you got to try and get yourself a little tattoo there, girl, and see what happens. You'll be sleeved out.
I don't know. We have another girl who works for us. It's interesting. We have 3 ladies who work at this station, 3 of us. There's another one. But anyway, 3 of us that work here, I should say it that way. My name is Casey. Then there's another girl by the name of Kara. And then there's another girl by the name of Carrie. And Carrie...
Wow.
Yeah, we used to have a Connor that worked for us too, which was really bizarre.
Wow.
But Carrie has tattoos, and she must be like you. It must be a tattoo and a bacon thing, because when she's on the air, she'll go off on a binge all about bacon. She loves bacon too. So I don't know if tattoos and bacons go together.
No, I like her already. Tell her to call me. I like her.
I will.
Tell her to give me a shout sometime. And
she loves bacon. Yeah, she's a big bacon girl, and she has tattoos. So, but yeah, let's kind of shift gears back a little bit to your music.
All right.
For sure. But so you've been putting out some singles out there. You've been getting your music out. You've been getting it some airplay. You've also been getting some recognition on Billboard music charts, as well as some various magazine national radio airplay with the current single, which is what brought you to my attention, your song "My Old Man." Now the story itself kind of tells a story, but is that a true life story? Is that one that kind of came from a little experience? Did you write that song, Frank?
Yeah, so here's the deal about that song, and thank you for mentioning it. It's a great song, and I love that song. It's probably my staple song and always will be. So here's the deal. There's 2 writers in town that I admire a lot. One, his name is Phil O'Donnell. We call him Phil Billy here in town, and he produces Craig Morgan, and he's written a couple #1 hits, Montgomery Gentry and whatnot. And the other one is Gary Hannon. And Gary is a dear friend of mine, and he co-wrote Tequila Makes Her Clothes Fall Off,
right,
and Nichols, and some other ones as well. So they give me a demo of this song in 2009. I hear it, and I'm so moved by this song, and I'm like, wow, that's a great song. I'm going to cut that one day. And then shortly thereafter, I get a phone call that my daddy, they said, you better get down here. Your daddy's got to have an emergency quadruple heart bypass.
Holy smokes.
So I go over there, and they crack my daddy open and do the whole deal, and he lives. Thank God he lives. And so I come back to Nashville, and I call them boys, and I said, here's the deal. I'm going to cut that song right now. So that song really made me think about my daddy, and every word in that song fits my daddy perfectly. And so so that is kind of the story behind that song. I will tell you that originally, the original version of that we tested in 2000, there's a line in there that says, damn that heart attack. And the man died of a heart attack in the original.
Uh-huh.
But I removed the words heart attack because I was hearing from everyone saying, well, my daddy died of cancer. My daddy died in a car wreck. My daddy died this way. So when you pigeonholed it, I thought, man, maybe I open it up where it's just open for everyone. And that's why I say the line, damn, I miss my old man instead. And you know what? I think it was a great thing, and they were gracious enough to be cool with me about that. Gary and Phil were. And it broadened it out for everyone and made that song about everyone and their daddy or their uncle or their friend's daddy.
Right.
And I get emails and messages every week. I kid you not. At least once a week, I would get emails and private Facebook messages from people all over the country that it was playing, telling me stories about what it meant to them. And so, it's just one of those songs. That's what you love about country music, right? It touches you, and if that song doesn't touch you, then man, something's wrong.
Yeah. And I think that's honestly, that's one of the reasons why. And I tried to find you, and I looked up because when I heard that song myself, I was like, that's a really cool song. And I realized it was getting some serious airplay on a couple of different places, and I'm like, my show's a country show, and it's a country song, and this is a country artist, and I'm going to see what I can do. And I know I reached out to you a little while ago because my schedule gets crazy busy with all the artists that I do have. But I'm like, I need to get this guy on my show and tell the story about that song because it is so powerful. And, and like you said, just about anyone who hears it can relate to it in one way, shape, or form. Like you said, maybe it's not about their particular dad, but maybe somebody else's dad, their wife's dad, their, like you said, their uncle or whatever, or even a brother that's a dad to their children.
That's right.
And I think that's one of the things that country music really, really, really does. A lot of the music, whether it's a fun, toe tapping, butt swinging, going out in the truck and have a party in the middle of a field song, or, something serious like that, somehow along the line, I think a lot of country music touches people. And I don't know, maybe all the other genres do too. I don't listen to a lot of other genres, but I think that's one thing that country music has in its pocket. And, like you say, when the artists do bring it, they sing it and they bring it to life and it touches people. Do you feel that way, Frank?
I feel exactly that way. I've listened, I listen to all kinds of music, and I'm a lover of all kinds of music, but I will say, without a doubt, country music, without a doubt, to me, is the best music in the world. And I would challenge anybody to say different regarding songs that really touch you. And you don't have to look any further than, a lot of weddings and significant moments in people's lives, and country music is there. It's nearby.
Right.
So, there's a reason for that, and we try to write about things that matter. And you're right. I've got some songs that are just, fun party songs or whatever, and that's fine. But I'm always going to try to write about and record songs that other writers write.
Right.
About things that matter in our lives. And when it's all said and done, personally, I want to be an artist that people will go back to and listen to a song. You know how you can listen to a song from 1970 and it's still as relevant to you as it is today,
right,
as it was. I want to have songs like that, and I think My Old Man is one of those songs.
Yeah.
I think My Old Man will be good from 50 years from now. Somebody listen to that song,
Right.
it'll reach them in the same way, and I love that.
Right.
Absolutely. That's where I want to live, right there.
Right. And I think you're right about that. So, listen, I think I have to take a little break, Frank, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to play our break and take care of some business, but I think we're going to come back with that song, My Old Man, and get everybody to listen to it, and maybe a new way to listen to it. You know, I mean, they might have heard the song before, and they're like, oh, that's a nice song. You know, but, you know, it's always nice to know the background of a song or what the real true meaning of a song is to the artist that performs it, and sometimes you get to hear it a little bbit differently. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think
I agree.
that's what we're going to do, Frank. If you can hang on for just a minute,
Sure.
we want to touch base on your album that you have coming out, about how people can find you, and just this amazing love affair that you have with country music, and we want to hear more about that. So I'm just going to ask you to hang on for just a second. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to be back with more Frank Ortega and his single, My Old Man. Give it a listen, and I mean this time really listen to it, folks, and really kind of like get the connection. And I'm sure it might even bring a tear to someone's eye. So we're gonna be back in just a minute. It's Wall to Wall Country. Hey, I'm Case, and you're hanging out with us here with Frank Ortega and Penn's Peak Radio. Frank Ortega, his single that is out, doing really, really well. Talking about his old man. Brand new music for you right here on Wall to Wall Country. And I mean, yeah, I you know, you listen to the words a little bit differently when you know the story, Frank, and it's truly cool. I mean, anybody can relate to all the words that are in that song, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Sitting there listening to it right now and reflecting on my daddy and thinking about all the time, because there's a line in there that says he bought me my first box guitar, and it's so true because my daddy did.
Mm-hmm.
He woke me up one early Saturday morning. True story. He woke me up one early Saturday morning, and he worked for Sears his whole life. He had one job. He went to the service, and then he got out and he worked for Sears and Roebuck his whole life. And so he fixed washing machines and all that on the side. And one morning, he got me up early Saturday morning. He wanted me to go work on a washing machine with him, and I was like, "Are you kidding me, old man?" Anyways, my music kind of got me out of doing a lot of that stuff with him because I was always practicing, and so I was surprised that he did that. But we went and got something to eat, and then he said, we're going to go work on a washer together. I'm going to teach you. And I said, all right. But he took me to a music store in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'll never forget it. And we tooled on in there, and we walked in. The guy saw my dad, walked in. He waved at him and went to the back, and he came out with a little old Gibson Kalamazoo and a Fender Princeton amp. I'll never forget it. And it was my first guitar ever. And so when you hear that line in there, it's just so true. Every line in there was just so true. So
that's awesome. Now, this song is on your new album that you're putting together and hopefully going to have released this August?
This song is on iTunes.
Okay.
So is there's a few other ones out there as single. But Interestingly enough, I'm not going to put this song on this record. It's available out there worldwide for people to purchase. But regarding the album is a little bit different. And, it's country. But, you find yourself after a while. They say Nashville is a, 10, 12-year town. And you just kind of discover at the core of who you are, what type of music you truly are. It takes a long time, longer than people think. Sometimes the product that people hear on the radio, if you hear a young buck out there singing, a lot of times that is not even that true essence of that artist. That is a record label's version of what's popular.
Right.
So that's why you see an artist one year and then you see him down the road and there's a change, but it takes a while. So having said that, I have really, really dug my boots into exactly who I am. And if I had to define it, it would be probably a mixture of three of my heroes. The first one is Dwight Yoakam,
mm-hmm.
Johnny Cash,
mm-hmm.
and Freddie Fender.
Right.
And, I'm Latin. I speak fluent Spanish, and I'm an American Mexican. And but I love country music. And so I am finally in a place where I'm cutting songs that truly are the essence of who I am, and this album is going to reflect that. There's even going to be a little bit of Spanish, just like Freddie did in some of these country songs.
Okay.
And so I could not be more excited about this. I've never been more excited about cutting music than this album that I'm cutting. We
Awesome.
tracked 14 songs last week on this record. I don't know how many are going to make the record, but we tracked 14 of them, and so we'll see what happens. And this record's going to be ready to rock in about I think August. It'll be available to everyone.
Awesome. And we'll look forward to that. Do you have the title? Is it going to be self-titled? What's it going to be called, Frank?
You know, I'll tell you, you're the first person I'm going to publicly tell the title to, because I've been asked a few times already, but I've decided not to tell anyone. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you and here. The album is going to be called Uno.
Okay. One.
Meaning one.
Yep.
Yeah, meaning one. And, you know, I really wanted to. I'm not the type of person that would like to shove my ethnicity down people's throats, and I won't. This is America, and so, but I am who I am.
Right.
So, I'm a perfect blend. I really do feel of who my ethnicity but being an American, and
right.
So, having said that, I really wanted a word that was singular that defined me. I'm a very independent artist, and so it's very singular. I wanted something in Spanish, but that every gringo would understand.
Right.
In the country.
Right.
And I think that Uno fits that perfectly. And I think my albums are going to be called Uno, Dos, Tres, and Cuatro, and so on and so forth.
Nice.
Kind of just a cool, unique way to do it. So.
And there you go. All right.
So there
All
you
right.
have it.
Well, that sounds like a plan. And you guys want to keep an eye open for Uno, Frank Ortega's album coming out once it's all finished up, and that's going to be happening in August of 2015. And, of course, you know, Frank, at any point in time, if you would like to send one or two of them my way, I'd be glad to pass them on to some listeners and help get your music out up here in Pennsylvania as well, and that would be awesome. But some other songs you mentioned, there's a couple other singles out there that people can get their hands on right now through iTunes is one of the vessels that they can do it. And one of the other tunes that you did, which I'm dying to hear the explanation of this because I think it's an interesting title, is Honky Tonk and the Altar.
Man, Honky Tonk and the Altar it's one of my favorite songs, and it sounds, isn't it weird how sometimes you can hear a title and you're like, how in the world can they make that a song? Like, how can that be? Then you hear it, and it fits perfectly.
Right.
You know, it just fits perfectly. I do that all the time, and I listen to title. I look at title, and I'm like, that's odd, and then I hear it, and I'm like, man, that is fantastic writing. I look back to Phil Billy again, one of the co-writers of My Old Man for this song, and this song went out as a single to radio nationally and did pretty good, and it was a great stepping stone for me. But I promise you, it's actually been covered. I noticed there's a couple independent artists out there that have covered it after they heard it, which I thought was pretty cool. You know, I just thought it was pretty cool that people thought of it enough to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it says it all in the title.
Okay.
The line in it, you know, we all fall somewhere between the honky tonk and the altar, and it's so true. Some of us fall a little closer to the honky tonk than the altar, but, you know, and vice versa, right?
Right.
So I think that this song perfectly sums me up, and when I went in to cut it, I was thinking, man, this song really defines me perfectly, and so. It came out really, really good, and it got really great reviews from critics. Not that I live for critics, but if you can please a critic,
right.
I guess if you please them on a Monday, you're not pleasing them on a Tuesday. But my point is, it was well received by just about everyone, and I was very grateful for that. But it's strong. That song is strong as battery acid, and I hope you get a chance to play it so your listeners can hear it. And by the way. Here comes a shameless plug, but if they go to frankortega.com, they can just click on the iTunes link there and join me on Facebook and Twitter. Everything's from FrankOrtega.com. But yeah, they can buy it and take a listen for themselves.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to play it. And when I'm done playing the song, Frank, if you can hang in just a few more minutes, I want to touch base and let people know how to find you on the web and Facebook and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And I want to make sure people know, exactly where to find you and all that, and what you're up to, and maybe wink, nudge me into something that's coming up. But let's get that song out there and see what people have to think about it. If you can hang on for just a few more minutes, Frank.
You got it, darling.
All right, Frank Ortega right here on Penn's Peak Radio. We're going to take care of some ID business, and then this song from him, a little something called Honky Tonk and the Altar, where you can figure out where you fall. Do you fall closer to the honky tonk side, or do you fall closer to the altar side? More Frank Ortega coming up in just a quick second. Don't go anywhere. It's Wall to Wall Country. Checking out Frank Ortega right here on Penn's Peak Radio and Wall to Wall Country. A little something called the Honky Tonk and the Altar. Another single that you guys can find on iTunes if you're interested in that particular one. And, of course, you can find a lot of the information with Frank as well on FrankOrtega.com. Is that correct, Frank?
That is correct.
Okay, and you're also on Facebook and Twitter, and kind of from earlier in the conversation, I get the impression that you're the person who kind of answers when people are asking you questions on some of the social medias. You're the guy who says, yeah, you're talking to me directly, man.
That's exactly right. I do all my own social media and talk to everybody, and I get messages from all over the place, and I answer them all, at least all the ones that I can. But yeah, I do it directly. It's fun, actually.
Cool. Awesome. So, and I always think that's nice. I mean, I realize people get busy and artists get crazy and they get pulled in 10,000 directions. But, if you want to keep that fan base, in this time frame of society, people want that. They want to know that you're the one answering the questions and stuff because it's there, and I just think it's really cool.
It is cool. And you know what? In today's world, I mean, there are times where I get very, very busy, and I may have to, I can't do it for a day or so, but, I always come back to it. My goodness, I mean, you can do anything from your phone. So, it's so mobile now that it's just easy. It's easy to do. And most of the stuff, you go to my personal page, I spend a lot of time there, and mainly it's just stupid stuff that I post, dumb pictures and just dumb stuff. people tend to like it, and I'm a jokester, so I'm constantly posting all my random thoughts. And I don't know what's more crazy, when I post a thought that says I'm thinking of a number, winner gets prize, and then you get 100 comments deep. People get. I don't know if I'm crazy or they're crazy or we're all crazy together, but it's a lot of fun, and I like it, and I appreciate everyone. And that you're right about what you said. About artists and connecting with their people, but I'm greatly appreciative of everyone out there and all the support that they give me, and it's a really cool thing if you can find a way to make a living or even half a living doing music. I mean, that's pretty strong, and so I'm grateful that I can.
Yeah, and I think the connectivity of it is important, and people, artists, and this is not a dig, but artists just need to kind of remember where they came from, and remember that, if it, and I feel that way all the time. I get artists who say, well, thank you so much for having me on the show, and we appreciate it. We couldn't do it without radio stations, and I sit here and go, now wait a minute. Without artists and without music and without you guys doing what you do, we wouldn't have a job. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It goes both ways. It does go both ways, man. And you just hit it right on the head. I think it's everybody. And then let's not forget the most important element, the fans.
Right.
I mean, without the fans, there's nothing.
Right.
Period.
Right.
End of conversation. So it's a really cool thing that we have all these music lovers out there and that want to hear good new music and country music, and it just, from that desire comes this entire industry.
Right.
And that's an amazing thing when you think about that. There's no there is no hard, stable foundation beyond the fans' love of music. So when you think about this whole entire industry, and people ride by and see a radio station, the whole building, the towers, everything, all of that is on the premise of somebody loving something that much, and that's it. I mean, it's pretty amazing when you think about it.
Right.
It's kind of scary, actually, when you think about
A little bit.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? That's the beautiful thing about fans. You know,
Right.
that country music fans. I know people say this, and it sounds easy to say, but country music fans, they are the best fans. They're loyal. They learn things about you, and you feel like you know them. You know, at CMA Fest, I meet people, and you know, like I had this fan one time, and they were husband and wife, and they were, I think, it was from Germany, and I've shared this with a couple people, but you know, they get on your page and they'll write you private messages, and you send them a shirt or something cool, and then come CMA Fest, they're standing right in front of you.
Right.
And they're there. And
Right.
they're like, they came from Germany to see all the artists and support everyone. And then I think about, it's hot as fire, you know, in June in Nashville. And then I think about, you know, $5,000-$6,000 they paid on plane tickets and the hotels and all of that just so they could be part of this. And how grateful should an artist be for that?
Yeah.
Eternally is
Yeah.
the answer, you know?
Well, I think 99% of the artists that are out there recognize that and realize that at times.
Yeah.
And even though, you know, it gets crazy sometimes, and then you have that bonehead artist every once in a while.
Yeah.
You know, but
I think you're right.
I think there's a lot of other facets to artists and things that they got to do and they can do and things like that. And I just want to hit this though really, really quickly. You know, one of the things that artists do, and I always I don't care what organization it is, I just think it's really, really important and really cool when the artists kind of step out of their comfort zone for just a second and want to give back just for the sake of giving back. And when it comes to charities, you know, you have one that I think kind of pulls on the heartstrings of people. I mean, I realize there's the cancer ones, and then there's the leukemia ones, and the children ones, and all this other kind of stuff. But one of the things that I've read that you like to support, and you've raised a lot of money for, is animals. You want to tell us a little bit about that organization?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of fundraisers over the years, and the vast majority of them, I'd say 95% of them, have all been to help animals. I just, you know, and I certainly ain't got no franchise on this. I understand that there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of great things, far more giving and complex than me coming up there and singing for a couple hours to raise money, and I recognize that. But what I do is I put on, you know, concerts and invite great artists and writers that have written big hits and raise a lot of money for WeHelpAnimals.net.
Right.
In particular over here in Tennessee, but I've also done it for other animal charities as well, and I feel like these little puppies don't have a voice, right? I mean, we are their voice, and so I just have chosen those little fellas to try to help, and I'm very grateful that I can do that.
Yeah. I just want to throw this out there that the charity, just in case somebody's interested in going, wait, what was that? What is it? If they're an animal lover like me.
Yeah, the one that I've been heavily involved with is WeHelpAnimals.net.
Right, which
that is their name, and that is their website address.
Right,
WeHelpAnimals.net.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and it's an all volunteer, non-for-profit animal protection agency. And they really try to help out, you know, animals.
Oh yeah.
They've got stories on here. They work with veterans to help them take care of the animals, spay and neuter animals, get them permanent, forever homes or permanent homes, whatever you want to call them. So if you guys want to. You want to find out more about this, it's WeHelpAnimals.net. You can actually donate right there on their page. It's an organization out of Tennessee, and, you know, you can read all about these guys and see that they are legit. They are a real nonprofit organization, and You know, and it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter, like I said, no matter what the organization, the fact that you're not just out there going, well, I got to play gigs and I'm going to make money and it's all about me and it's all about my music. But even you give every artist that has a little something, if they can give back, I just find that incredibly admirable. And animals are my heartstring. I love animals, and I just think that's awesome. So good kudos for you.
I that, you know. Yeah, and I encourage everyone to really research. Not only WeHelpAnimals.net, but I have this theory about getting involved with organizations. I get approached by my fair share of organizations to help, and I'm just really, really big on where that money's going. And I'm a very business-minded man, and so I really dig to try to find out. And I encourage everyone to do that. There's a lot of places out there that for every dollar you give, maybe 25 cents goes to help the cause. That's not something that I sign up for. I like to deal with organizations where the vast majority of the money is going to help. In the case of WeHelpAnimals.net, I can tell you that I want to say 99% of the money. She'd probably say maybe 95%. But I happen to know the lady that put this whole thing together, and I mean they pay for whatever it is to keep that little website of theirs going, and a cell phone.
Right.
And that's what and any gas money, I guess, tooling around to save animals. But I mean, I know where that money's going. I've been firsthand involved with that organization, picking up animals, the whole nine. So I know what's going on there, and I encourage everyone to, any organization, man, that they get involved with, to really investigate it and understand where your money's going, and that will encourage those people to make sure they're doing the right thing.
Well, and I think that's awesome. And again, it's just WeHelpAnimals.net. I mean, there's a million animal organizations out there, and I'm not saying that they don't deserve a couple bucks too, but especially if you're listening and you are in the Tennessee area, you're helping out the animals that are right there in the Tennessee area too. So, I totally get it. And it's nice to be completely confident, like you're saying, that if you are going to put money towards an organization, that it's just not going in somebody's pocket.
That's right. And every show that I do for them, anybody that I ask to play, no one gets paid. I don't receive a nickel for it. All the money goes to them. I'm not interested in anyone making any money off of these shows. And so, it's a great thing. And I encourage everyone to give in their community any way that they can. And I think it's a good thing, and I appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah, always. Well, I want to get you too much longer, but one or two more things I want to touch on really, really quickly is to remind everybody, check Frank out, frankortega.net. You can find his Facebook page. You can find his Twitter page. You can get some links to iTunes to get your hands on My Old Man as well as some of his other music. And I'm expecting, when you do get Uno out, and it's up for grabs, you'll be able to be putting the information out there on the social medias and things like that, and let people know how they can get their hands on your album. That's due to be released sometime in August. Looking forward to that as well. When I close out my show, Frank, I always like to end the show with another song from the artist, just to remind everybody to check out their website and listen again on Sunday, because this whole show re-airs on Sunday morning starting at 8. But another tune that we were talking about that I want to give people a little background on is Two Places at Once is another song that you have out there on iTunes people can get their hands on. You want to tell us real quickly what that one's about?
Sure. So that song kind of says it all, right? I mean, we all wish at times we could be two places at once, whether it be for business stuff, whether it be for anything, but I think mostly out of love and affection, right? I mean, we all want to be with certain people in our lives, whether it be family, spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it may be. And so it just kind of sums the whole thing up. Three of my buddies wrote this song, Ira Dean, Kim Tribble, and David Lee Murphy. So, I mean, David Lee Murphy alone, I mean, my gosh, that guy's written some huge hits for Kenny Chesney and some other ones. And so I'm in some really good company in Nashville. And my boy Ira, he was the bass player for Trick Pony for years. And,
right.
Just a great guy, and Kim Tribble's co-written a bunch of number ones. So I'm in great company. It's a great song, and it's just one of those songs that you don't have to think too hard or whatever. You just kind of take a listen to it, and I think it means something to everybody. It certainly did to me. So yeah, I hope that your listeners enjoy that as well, and and go to frankortega.com and find me and friend me on Facebook there and Twitter and all that good stuff. I'm right there.
Okay, and that sounds like a plan. Again, you want to find this guy. It's real simple, frankortega.com. You can see everything about him, his news, his music, some photos. You can find out more about that charity and contact him and chat with him on the social medias and things along that line. Find out when his new album, Uno, is going to come out, when you can get your hands on it. And don't forget to listen for that last song at the end of the show. And Frank, I like to throw this out there and let you know that if at any point in time you find yourself up here in northeast Pennsylvania or in the Pennsylvania area, feel free to let us know, man. The doors to Penn Speak Radio is always open, and we'd love to have any of my artists swing by, stop in, say hi, play a little music, and have some fun.
I will definitely do that. If I'm up even near you, I will make sure I come around and see y'all.
That would be awesome. And, looking forward to it. If you do happen to have the opportunity to send some items our way, we'll be sure to hook them up with some of our listening audience and, help spread the word about your music, my man.
I appreciate that, and we're late on that, but you're fixing to get a bunch. You're just fixing to get a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
A big old box full of FO stuff and FO gear, as we like to call it. So I'm happy to do that, and I do appreciate you. I appreciate Penn Speak Radio and all the good folks in northeast PA there for taking some time to listen.
No problem, Frank. Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your day today because I know you guys are really busy. But, always, hey, listen, good luck with everything you have going on. Safe travels as well. And keep in touch, my friend. You know how to reach me.
Thank you, Casey. I appreciate y'all.
All right. You take care, sir. Bye-bye now.